All right, welcome. So today I'm going to go over my brand new portfolio, my dividend growth portfolio. As you can kind of see, like right up here, I am at $2,000. I invested $2,000 into this. A week ago, I built this, and I kind of wanted to show off the different things that I am in. Some controversial and some pretty typical stocks for dividend growth. The purpose of this account is obviously to grow my portfolio, but also main dividend investing. Now, with the dividend growth portfolio, there's a lot of stocks in here that are going to be stocks that have increased their dividend yield or increased their dividends year over year. So there's some that don't pay out a whole lot of dividends, but there's also some that pay out a lot. So it's kind of a mix of both. And I am excited to show you all this. Purpose of this also is kind of be a journal for myself, kind of see where I started, where I'm going, and also just to hear my thoughts or just to put out my thoughts as to why I chose certain stocks over different ones. I can't wait to actually kickstart this journey. This is a brand new portfolio for me. Like I said, it's only about a week old, and we'll see how this changes in the future. Now, right now, I'm invested in 10 different stocks. At the moment, I don't want to spread myself too thin. That's why I'm sticking with like 10 stocks at the moment, because if I add like 20 or 30, then I'm really not going to see any gains. I'm just going to see like very minimal stuff. And like I said, as I grow this portfolio, I'll add some more stocks into this, kind of spread myself out a little bit more. But let's go ahead and jump into this here. As you can see over here in the passive income, I'm at a 48.48%, which is it's pretty high. And you'll see why here in just a second. Because as you might see here, I am in some yield max holdings or ETFs. These are controversial because of their dividend yields or what they call distributions. I'll go ahead and pull one up for you real quick. As you can see here, 81.27%, which is crazy because a lot of dividend investors, they're going to try and stay away from really high dividend yields. This one's a little bit different. These are closed call ETFs. And YMAX here, this one I'm on, is actually a fund, or it's a group of the stocks that Yield Max does, for lack of better words. So it's basically an ETF of an ETF. They've got a whole bunch here, but the main one that I am invested in is going to be MSTY. That one's been pretty huge lately, coming in at about 130% dividend yield, 128.35%. And the reason for these is just I also want to kind of experiment with these because, I mean, although as you can kind of see here with the price here, you can see it's kind of going down. And so I understand that fact, and these are really, really risky. I wouldn't recommend someone go into these right off the rip if they're first starting investing, because these are risky. These provide a little bit of stress to the portfolio. But with the distributions or dividends, they're the same thing, but they call them distributions. It kind of outweighs it, and I'm also going to be DCAing these. If you don't know what DCA is, it's dollar cost averaging. So, as the price fluctuates, I'll be buying and kind of averaging out. So if the price goes down, then obviously my cost per share will also go down as well. Now, that's not to get away from the fact that like these can drop significantly, and that that provides a lot of risk. Now, getting into this, actually, you'll see that I'm in 3 different yield max stocks. I'm in YMAX, NVDY, and MSTY. NVDY and MSTY, those are monthly paying dividends, but they get paid out on certain weeks. So basically, there's a group B and a group D that has a bunch of different stocks in them, or a whole bunch of different ETFs in them. The reason why I'm invested into these 3, one, YMAX is weekly paying, and it kind of diversifies itself with all of these different stocks that they have. And then NVDY and MSTY, they're in different groups or different weeks. So to make this simpler, basically NVDY pays on week 2 of the month, and MSTY pays on week 4. It could be swapped around. I can't remember which one is which, but it opens myself up to more frequent distributions from these stocks. And I like that. I also believe in the NVIDIA stock because that's what NVDY is. The underlying stock that they're betting with is NVIDIA stock. And I believe, that stock's going to go up. So I feel a bit more confident being in this particular holding. But we'll go ahead and move on to the other ETFs I'm in. I am also in JEPQ and SCHD. JEPQ is also a pretty high yielding stock. As you see here, 11.62%. It's a little bit of a safer bet. However, it's still really risky. Again, with higher dividend yields, you're accepting a lot higher risk with the stock. You know, I feel like right now is also a pretty decent time to buy into it, especially after this dip. I mean, it is kind of back to its average price right now. I like the stock, and it provides really good dividend yield. They don't take up too much. I mean, JEPQ does take up quite a big position, and so does YMAX. But I'm also distributed through all these other ones, so they don't have a huge weight in my portfolio. Like I said, JEPQ, I'm a fan of. I'm going to keep investing into it. And actually going into that, I'm going to be investing around $500 a month into this portfolio. So I'm going to be adding to this. This isn't going to be purely just how my dividend grows just from dividends. There is going to be contributions made to this as well. So I can obviously make more from these different stocks and their dividends. And then the next ETF I'm in is SCHD. This is just a really safe stock. I mean, this is the holy grail of dividend stocks. 4% yield with consistent growth in the dividends. As you see here, 13-year streak with improving their dividends or increasing their dividends year over year. This does pay out quarterly. You know, it's also great for growth to an extent. I mean, it's very middle of the line. Like, you're not going to see a whole bunch of growth with it. Now we'll kind of get into the individual stocks that I'm in. This is where I would be increasing more into like buying more of these individual stocks. So I'm not only in ETF funds, I'm going to be in the individual stocks as well, because that's where I'm also going to see capital growth basically, as well as dividends as well. So first one here, we got ADP. This one is a pretty popular stock amongst dividend investors as well. Got 1.89% dividend yield. And right now I'm predicted to make about $2.82 this year from it if I don't add anything else to it. However, with the dividend, as you can see here, it has 19 years of consistent growth in the dividend. So again, year over year, they grow their dividend stock. So they're very reliable with increasing their stock and also paying out and not shrinking it. And that's what I really like about it. You know, it's a stock that will probably grow over time. As you see here, over the last 5 years, it's just basically gone up. And I believe it's going to do the same thing, and as well as increase its dividends. So I think this is a really good holding for me here. Next, we'll go on to another classic in dividend investing, which is going to be Altria or MO. This one's got a pretty high dividend yield, 6.88%. This one also is pretty reliable when it comes to increasing their dividends. 15 years growth. They don't increase it too much every single year. As you see here, it's only about like 4% each year they'll grow it. So doesn't have a huge amount of growth each year, but it does show reliable income and reliable growth, which is what I'm looking for in this portfolio. And over the last 5 years, as you can see, it's gone up. However, we are kind of at the top, so there's a chance that it will probably go down a little bit, but we don't know. It's a stock market. No one really knows what's going to happen with it. I do kind of like the consistency of it, and I do believe the dividend yield is going to greatly help my portfolio quite a bit. Moving on, we'll go to Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse, I did get from the Joseph Carlson show. I did really like the due diligence he did on this. I also eat there a lot, so I'm like, you know what? Screw it. We'll add Texas Roadhouse to the portfolio. I mean, it's got consistent growth with the dividend. Its share price also has gone up significantly as well within the past 5 years, 275%. And with the dividends, it's a pretty reliable dividend paying stock. It's only got 4 years under its belt of showing growth. I believe that's going to keep on going. And I'm really happy to have the stock within my portfolio here. It hasn't been performing too well lately. Again, you never know what's going to happen with it. And of course, with Texas Roadhouse, I'm only expecting about $2.74 in dividends this year. That also comes from only having a 9% stake or almost 10% stake in my portfolio with $2,000. Starting off small, and we're going to, as my portfolio grows, the more I'll have in Texas Roadhouse and the more dividends I'll make from this, especially with its dividend growth potential. And now UNH, United Health, this one has had a significant drop in its share price. As you'll see here, it's dropped significantly. So that's kind of what I'm playing with here, is I am betting on its growth back up to where it was, or even a little bit below. Even if it does stay a little below, that's still an insane growth, as well as its dividend growth as well. As you see here, got 15 years of dividend growth. I'm not sure. Okay, it's got 34 years of a dividend streak, but 15 years of dividend growth. So I'm also new to the Snowball Analytics website, so I'm learning this as I go. But yeah, it's a very reliable stock with dividends, as well as seeing its growth. We got almost 14% here in 2023 and almost 12% here in 2024. So I believe it's going to keep going up. So I'm going to play on the growth potential with the gains of this stock, as well as the dividend growth and the reliability of it. So I think this is also going to be a really good play for me, especially right now that it seems to be at a huge discount. A lot of people may disagree with me. It also does pay a 2.8% dividend yield, which is pretty good. And the last one here is going to be Visa. This one really doesn't pay much of a dividend at all. It's going to be at a 0.64% dividend yield. But again, this is more of a growth stock where it's going to grow over time. I don't own a whole lot of shares of this, but that's also because the price of it is $368. And I've got about $104 in this stock, mainly basically $100 in this stock. So in terms of the dividend yield from this, or the amount of dividends I'm going to make from this, it's really not going to be much. 68 cents on the year from Visa. So it's really not going to pay too much to me. But I like the fact that, you know, it grows its dividend and also grows its share price. So that could be a lot of potential gain for me and this portfolio. Now, as you see here, I'm predicted to make about $979, almost $1,000 this year just from dividends alone, and that is not going to be coming from the individual stocks at all. I mean, maybe besides Altria. Besides that, it's going to be coming from our funds, mainly our yield max. As you see here, $333 coming from MSTY. I've actually already gotten a dividend from them last week. It was about $5.68. Or not MSTY, from YMAX, $5.68. I'm expecting roughly the same this week as well. Then MSTY, I do believe I'm getting that up on Friday. Yeah. So Friday, I'm expecting a dividend payout from them. And then today, I'm expecting JEPQ payout as well. So I'm getting paid a couple times a month, and that's kind of where I want to be. And as I increase the amount of holdings I have in my portfolio, hopefully I'll see more consistent payouts as well. For now, we're keeping it at 10. Roughly make about $83 a month. Again, that's going to vary from month to month because typically each quarter you'll see a little bit more of a dividend due to some stocks paying quarterly. This is still a pretty risky portfolio, as I showed you, especially with my funds. A lot of those are risky plays, not really SCHD as much, but JEPQ and all the yield max funds, those are pretty risky plays, but I'm excited to see what they can do for me. And with all of these stocks, besides the yield max ones, I'm going to be turning on DRIP. If you don't know what DRIP is, it's dividend reinvestment, which means, like, say Visa pays me $20, which it's not going to be happening for a really long time. They pay me $20. That $20 goes right back into Visa and gives me however many shares of Visa that is. And so that'll constantly just grow itself. With the yield max ones, those I'm going to manually put in as, like, if I see a big drop in one of the stocks, I'll invest a whole bunch into that basically, and grow it that way. And I'll also say, you know, I'm not like new to investing at all. I've been investing for 7 years now, ever since I turned 16 or so. I've been investing. I used to do some day trading back when I was in high school. It worked out a little bit, but it was a lot of stress. But when it comes to like dividends and looking into the different financials when it comes to investing in these, I'm still relatively new, so I'm learning as I go. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this portfolio. I'm going to do these about once a month or so. Get an update. What dividends did I get? How much did I get from each of those stocks? And then I'll also post like updates if I add anything to my portfolio. I'll make an update video on that and like explain why I chose that stock over something else. Or if I removed a stock, I'll explain why I did that. Also doing like in-depth like reasons as to why I chose some of these stocks as well. This is just kind of like a general video of like, okay, I'm here, just very quickly just go over like why I'm in certain stocks and stuff like that. But I'll do more in-depth videos as well. Yeah, I'll give you all an update here in about a month or so, and we'll see where I'm at. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.